Good morning, good afternoon, whatever time date is that you are listening, folks. Thank you very, very much for listening. The date is the 19th, the month is January, and the year is 2026. Welcome to yet another edition of the Coping Hour, hosted by Nicholas Hinkle, a.k.a. Moton Noah. Where do we want to start this one, folks? 10 minutes ago, the Bears lost to the Rams in the divisional round. Rams going to go on to play Seattle in the NFC Championship game. Man, I really don't know how to start this because the plan for this episode was going to spend a lot of time on this Bo Nix thing. It's crazy, this Bo Nix thing. But this Bears game, it just ended. And I'm just a roller coaster of emotions that game was. I don't know how to start with this. What are the vibes of the NFL right now? What can we get a vibe check on the playoffs? Who feels good about any of this? What the fuck is going on, man? What's going on? Okay, so I mean, just a weekend of just fan bases just getting kicked in the nuts repeatedly, over and over and over again. You know, even there's a team that's gonna be playing next weekend that got kicked in the nuts and is currently crying, and it's like, fuck, our season's over, despite the fact that they're playing. Their season's still alive. They're gonna be playing in the AFC Championship game against the Patriots at home. They're gonna be playing at home in the AFC Championship game. And if you're a Broncos fan, you're like, our season's over. Shit. You know? And if you're a Bills fan, you lost that game. You lost that game, and your Superman, he took his cape off. It wasn't on. Bills had, 5 turnovers? Josh Allen responsible for 4 of them. 4 of them. Josh Allen. Oh, my God. You know, if it's not the Bills, they lost the game. If it's not the Broncos, they won the game. I didn't even say what it was for the Broncos. I said I didn't know where to start. Where are we starting? Have we started yet? Let's start with Bo Nix. What the hell just happened? What the fuck just happened? Okay, so we all watched this Broncos game, and oh my God, they're up at halftime, and it's oh my gosh, the last 2 minutes of this game, the game it completely swings open and this enters. Oh my God, what's going on here? Are the Bills going to choke this game away? No, they come back, and it's the 30-30 going into overtime. It's like, okay, here's the Josh Allen, very famously doesn't play very well in overtime in the playoffs. I don't think he's won a game in the playoffs. Still hasn't, by the way, still hasn't. It's like you can't even focus on anything that happened in the game other than two very crucial decisions that were made at the end of the game. You know, for 4 quarters that the officials otherwise really just let these two teams play. Hand fighting was allowed, between the defensive backs and the receivers. They were really letting them play. You know, at the end of this game, there was one sequence where Brandon Cooks, a guy who, for a Bills receiving core that is otherwise just shockingly uninspiring for how talented their quarterback is. It's crazy that they just have given him nothing on the outside. Brandon Cooks is a good example of that. The fact that guy's fucking rostered by an NFL team, and it's the Bills, the guys, the team that has Josh Allen as their quarterback. Let's bring in Brandon Cooks. I say that. I don't know, in the last month, how many moments has Brandon Cooks had? A couple. He had a pretty big one against the Jags. It looked like he was, millimeters away from having another big one in this game and potentially sealing it, winning it. And the Bills season, they complete this comeback and they move on. And Josh Allen lives to see another day. That's back-to-back, road playoff wins against 2 really, really tough teams, 2 really, really hard defenses. And then I don't remember who the defender was for the Broncos, but it's just one of those kind of 50-50 things. Look, I have no idea how to. I don't know. I don't really understand that sequence at all. It's seemingly never consistent with how it's officiated. It's like I don't know. I always thought that the tie goes to the receiver. I thought that's just kind of tie goes to the offense. I thought that was kind of one of the advantages that they get. No, I guess not. And it's because he didn't have control and he wasn't down. He was okay. Well, if you want to litigate, possession, what is and is not control of the ball, and when you are and are not down in relation to when you maintain control of the ball, that's a whole nother can of worms. We're talking about 8 different things here, and so you're just kind of at the mercy of whatever they called on the field. And I believe in that moment, what they called on the field was that it was going to be Broncos ball, and that it was a turnover, and that Brandon Cooks, didn't secure the catch. Okay. Wasn't there also something with that play? Wasn't there a roughing the passer call or something? Anyways, I think there was also a flag. So wait, no, am I getting confused with what just happened in the Bears game. I'm sorry, I was on such a roll. I don't want to stop myself there. Okay, so then you have this other instance on the opposite side of this. Tre'Davious White gets flagged for this offensive, or I'm sorry, well, for this defensive pass interference late in the game, and it sets the Broncos up. I mean, talk about moments from fucking disaster. We were a play or two away from Bo Nix's season ending, from him breaking a bone in his ankle. We had no idea. By the way, by the time that it happened, which is where this is going, I'm spending a lot of time setting this up. That's where this is fucking going. Look, was it a flag? Yes, man, it was. Like it really stinks when the refs let them play for the whole game, right? And then it comes down to the end, and he had to throw that flag. I just thought Tre'Davious White was early. He was early in conjunction with doing the little chop. I just think it's a flag. Like, it just is. It sucks that it gets called there again for a game that, like, otherwise they were just kind of letting them play in a lot of instances. And then it stinks that what's highlighted is a sort of 50-50 flag. I don't even think it was a 50-50 flag. I just thought it was pass interference, and it stinks that it happened there, but it was what it was. So what the hell happened after that? What happened after that? I still don't get it. So what, the Broncos took like a snap or two, and the one that they took right before, I think they just like maybe kneeled down, was like Bo Nix taking a snap and then just positioning the ball. I think that's all that it was, actually, and then they brought the field goal unit out. Is that what happened? Is he took the snap and then it's like, hey, go to whatever hash he wants or center the ball or whatever it was that they did. Is that what it was? And did he just get stepped on, or did he go down funny? Is that where he got hurt? Because there's no indication of it on the broadcast. America had no idea. The world had no idea that this was going on. Nobody other than the Broncos sideline had any idea that this was going on. And Bo Nix comes off the field, and the field goal unit comes out, and they make the field goal because it's like a 2010 era extra point, like it's a fucking 3-yard field goal. Of course, you're gonna bang that in, dead center, and the Broncos move on. And so we're all like, oh, my God. Now, admittedly, I thought I was crazy at first because basically as soon as it went through, Maddie and I changed the channel to something else, and then we made dinner, and we were kind of doing other things, right? And so I don't know, did they show, like, Bo Nix getting, like, worked on the sideline? I missed this completely. A half hour goes by, 45 minutes goes by. Sean Payton, it comes out in his post-game availability. He just kind of says in passing, like, yeah, at the end of that game, Bo did break a bone in his ankle. He's scheduled to have surgery on Tuesday, and that will end his season. The room is dead. What the fuck? There wasn't even a gasp. What the fuck did he just say? You're kind of starting to slowly see this come out. Did we all think we were getting like ball sack sports? There's no way that this just happened. What the hell just happened? What do you mean? Wait a minute. What do you mean? Josh Allen, at the exact same time that all of this is transpiring, is at that exact same podium, and he's bawling his eyes out, and you're seeing a version of Josh Allen that you've literally never seen before. Like, just the rawest of raw emotions that you don't even see from, like, professional athletes. Like, fuck the quarterbacks, fuck the anything. Professional athletes, like, that vulnerability that Josh Allen showed in that post-game press conference. Like, dude, he feels like he let the team down, and, other Bills players, they got emotional because they're like, man, Josh didn't let us down. That's my quarterback. That's my fun. Like, some real Terrell Owens shit, you know what I mean? Which is cool to see, and blah, 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 and that's kind of a whole different thing. It really was, Josh Allen crying in this presser. It to me was sort of reminiscent of when Tebow lost to Ole Miss, and then he was like, "You're never gonna see a guy work as hard as me, and you're never gonna see a guy, prepare as hard as me, and I'm never gonna lose another fucking game ever again." And then it was like a year and a half later that he lost to, I think it was Alabama in the. I guess it wouldn't have been a year and a half. It was like a year later that they lost to Alabama, and I think the SEC championship game. Maka Jared's probably going to remember that one, and Tebow was on the sideline, and he's crying on the oh my God, as a 10-year-old, I was just so devastated for Tebow. I was so sad because the Ole Miss speech was just such a big thing. And so if you use that parallel with Josh Allen, it's like, now, is he really like the Tim Tebow kind of type? No, it's not really even the same personality. Nobody was like Tebow. This Mendoza guy, I don't know. You want to talk about like evangelical like optimists? I don't know. There's a Venn diagram that crosses. Has anybody pointed this out yet? The Venn diagram between Mendoza and Tim Tebow, there's got to be a little something there. If Mendoza has a Tebow-esque moment, like the way that, I'm sorry, did I say Mendoza has a Tebow-esque moment? Yeah, I think that's what I said. In the playoffs, like that Tebow had against the Steelers, that would be fucking sick. I mean, it would happen for the Raiders, and at that rate, I'm getting too far off the trail here. Look, let's get this thing back on the Bills. What the fuck? What happened to Bo Nix, man? What happened? Once we all kind of came to terms with it, it's one of the sharpest turns of, from going from just absolute cloud nine, one of the biggest wins that a team has ever had in the history, a playoff win that a team has ever had, a team that has otherwise, won Super Bowls before with two all-time great quarterbacks, like maybe two top 5, 7 quarterbacks that have literally ever played. One of them is top 3, maybe top 2. So they've won a lot of big games, but just this is so massive, for this coaching staff and for this quarterback and for a team that is just played with such a strong identity and in a lot of ways. I know they were favored by Vegas in this game. I think they were -3.5. I think is where it closed, and it was what was that final score? 33-30. Whoops! So many people, or maybe a lot of people are also on the right side of that. Just what a win. And just the air gets let out of the room. Boom, immediately. You're on cloud 9, and then you're in hell immediately. Purgatory. What the wait, so Jarrett Stidham, and the funniest piece of this, is it the funniest piece of it? I don't know, but it is funny. I don't know where it ranks. This is one of the maybe 6 to 11 or 12 funniest things that we could probably conjure up from this whole thing. So, those college football heads out there, I had to look this up because I had it backwards. I thought it was Bo Nix left, and then Jarrett Stidham, he went to Oregon, and then Jarrett Stidham took over. It was the other way around. So Jarrett Stidham was the quarterback at Auburn, and then Bo Nix comes in. I'm pretty sure he started as a real-life true freshman. I remember Bo Nix's first game at Auburn. I don't remember who they were playing, but it's it might have been Oregon. Wait, was it Oregon? That would be really funny poetry if it was. It was, all I remember, it was one of those games, in week 0, or, well, not week 0, but week 1, it'll be teams will go play in Jerry World, or they'll go play, and it'll be Wisconsin versus Alabama, or, the Chick-fil-A kickoff, whatever, and it's 2 fun teams playing Atlanta. Bo Nix was playing at Auburn in his first game in one of those games, and it was a big one. I don't remember what it was. I remember them showing his parents. It was a very vivid memory for me, and his entire time at Auburn, I was like, this guy's not good. This guy's not good at all, until he went to Oregon, and I was like, wait a minute. As soon as it was announced that he was in the portal and he went to Oregon, I was like, oh, wait, that makes immediate sense. I like that a lot with Dan Lanning. And then the rest is history. If you've listened to the show for a while, Bo Nix is my fucking guy, man. It was great for the agenda that this happened. It really stunk, I thought, for somebody who also is really invested emotionally in this narrative around Josh Allen. I'm bummed. I'm actually really bummed that this happened. I think it stinks that the Bills aren't going to go to the Super Bowl. I think that really stinks. But if you're a Broncos fan, it's man, the stars aligned. The stars aligned, and we won this game. Maybe you believed you were going to win this game. Broncos fans, nobody else in America thought you were going to win this game. Nobody thought that you were. And then you fucking did it, and it's oh my God, so now we just have to beat the Patriots or the Texans at the time. That's all we knew. Then it was yeah, okay, but we can do that because it's at home, and this defense and Patrick Surtain. I don't know, man, we can play with anybody, I guess. And then it's just gone. It's just gone. Right, I'm sorry. I was doing the Jarrett Stidham Bo Nix thing. I guess I kind of, I said what I needed to say. It's just funny how that works. They both end up on the same team, the same quarterback room, and then, now it's the inverse of it. So it's what I originally thought happened, with who replaced who. But, now Bo Nix goes out with this injury and Jarrett Stidham. So the Auburn, I don't know if Auburn fans claim Bo Nix. He just wasn't good for you guys. You guys weren't a good team. I don't know. You can if you want. I'm not going to throw a flag on. I'm actually kind of asking. I don't know if you do. I just, that guy's just kind of a duck. But man, Jarrett Stidham, he stinks. That's not a real guy. Look, ha ha ha, Nick Foles jokes, ha ha ha, they're so cute. Oh my God, Tom Brady has the opportunity to do the funniest thing. Oh my God, Phillip Rivers, blah blah blah. Yeah, it's all funny. Ha ha, Nick Foles. It's and good for him. I don't know if you saw this. I don't know if you heard about this. Nick Foles did fire off a tweet, kind of, about this, oh, and the good news if you're a Broncos fan is oh, historically they don't do very well in championship games against backup quarterbacks. Ha ha ha. It is funny that he is getting involved in it, but no, this is not cute Nick Foles shit. Okay. When Nick Foles was doing Nick Foles shit and became the guy, the Philly special and all this stuff, he kills Tom Brady. Nick Foles wasn't a bad quarterback before then. He was just kind of a backup quarterback. And there's a difference. There's a massive difference, right? So if my star quarterback gets hurt, let's use the Patriots as an example. The Tom Brady Patriots as an example, because this isn't a bad one, right? If Tom Brady got hurt, it wasn't good. But who was going to come in? Either Matt Castle. Yeah, that's a survivable. We'll be fine. That's a real guy that can play quarterback. He's a professional, and he's a good backup, right? That's his role. If it wasn't Matt Castle, it was, Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy fucking Garoppolo. As a backup, he was pretty damn good. Even as a quarterback for a few years, he went to a Super Bowl, If it wasn't him, the professional backup of all professional backups, Brian Hoyer. Now, if he had to come in for a game, your circumstances were certainly dire. But something could happen. That was a guy that he knows what he's doing out there. You want to go a little bit further back. Charlie Batch, that was another guy that was a good backup, but that was kind of it. You know what I mean? Jarrett Stidham is none of those guys. He fucking stinks like poop. He's not good. This is a problem. This is not good. This isn't good. I mean, you better hope that this altitude in Denver, makes Drake May's head blow up like he ate a piece of bubble gum from Willy Wonka's fucking chocolate river. You know what I mean? Like some shit like that. Like, you better hope that's what happens when he steps off that plane. Like, his stomach pops open like a damn bag of chips that's been, pressurized to fuck. You better hope some dark web shit happens to some guys on the Patriots, because otherwise you're not winning this game. You're not winning this game. It's not going to happen again. Because if the Bears are dead, and maybe we can move on to that, what the fuck? Who's more upset right now? Because if you're a Bills fan, especially now, you're like, well, they just got all this good luck, and, they got these calls in their favor, even if they were the right calls in both instances. Maybe it was an interception, and it was definitely pass interference, So maybe it's not like good luck, but you know what I mean? Like, the universe was kind to them in that moment until it wasn't. And so it's like, well, you guys didn't, even if you're a Bills fan, you're like Broncos fans, you guys didn't even use all this good luck in the right fucking way. Now your quarterback's dead. And now your season's over too. We're basically the same. You guys are already on vacation. Could you imagine if they win this game? I'm saying all this stuff. Can you imagine if they win this game? Oh my God. I really should cover all my bases here. You know what I mean? If we're going to talk about this, I guess I should, let's be thorough about this. Well, I said, hey, maybe some dark web shit's going to happen. I don't know. It's a long week. Lots of stuff can happen. Crazier things are happening in America right now. I don't know. Maybe something, I don't want to manifest anything, so I don't want to say well, this thing's going to happen. I don't know. I'm not going to make a bingo sheet for this entire week, what's some horrible dark web shit that's going to happen to the Patriots. I don't know. It's unknowable. It's unknowable what's going to happen to the Patriots, but I'm just saying keep an eye on it, and it's going to really stink if I say all this. I talk about being Nix Stradamus here, Noah Stradamus here. I say this. Imagine this is the week that somebody sends anthrax into the Patriots facility or something like that. What am I doing right now? Why am I doing this? I don't need to be doing this. Let's move on. Let's move on to a different game. Let's just talk about something else. Another heartbreak. The Bears. Oh, I'm like the Wii Sports crowd. Oh man. You talk about that cape coming on and off. If you're Superman, I'm telling you right now, brother. You could feel this city. You could feel Chicago levitating for 15 minutes. Oh my God, what a throw. What a play. I can't say this to you without me. You're not going to, I'm going to sound like LeBron for real. Can I sound like LeBron for a second? But I swear to God, I'm telling the truth. On my son's life, I'm telling the truth. I swear to God, please believe me. I'm not LeBron right now. Okay, no LeBron. When Caleb was dropping back and he takes the snap and he tries to scramble out and he's like, fuck, and he's just running backwards. He runs backwards 30 yards. It's 4th down. This is the game. This is the entire season. While he was running back and he kept falling back every 5 yards, I was thinking in my head in that exact moment, remember when Johnny Manziel did this against Alabama at home at Kyle Field? And he just threw a fucking 40-yard bomb straight up into the air. I think it was a 3rd down, 3rd and 13 or something. And Mike Evans came down with the ball. Do you remember that play? I swear to God. While Caleb was doing all that and he's at the 40-yard line, he throws up a bomb. That was the play that was in my head. So when that, you know what I mean? I can't, I also wouldn't lie about this. It just sounds really dumb. I swear to God, my reaction, the second that ball came down and it was a catch, Maddie gasps. So she goes full surrender cobra. Her hands are up here. In one motion, if this is very visual what I'm doing, but I'll try to describe it to you for those who can't watch. In one single motion, the second the frame was clear and he caught that ball, I took my shirt like this and I flung it off my head. And I did it in one motion where as my shirt was in the air, I also had my arms going straight up at the exact same time, and they went through the armholes perfectly. So I swear to God, do you get what I'm saying here? In one motion, like I'm a goddamn Buster Keaton, I threw my shirt off, and when I threw my hands in the air, and it all came off. And oh my God, what a play. Oh my God, what a play. I wish we had the windows open so we could have seen, if maybe we could have heard the film. I cannot imagine how loud it must have been in there. What a play. What a play. And for that in the end to fucking not matter at all. To not matter at all because why? Because DJ Moore, like, maybe didn't know that the ball was going to be thrown in his direction, despite the fact that it's like, hey, we're kind of like, anybody can get it right now. Like, DJ Moore just kind of just seemed like he wasn't, did he not? You know what I mean? That route just seemed very uninspired. Like, he really just was not looking for the ball. Caleb ends up throwing a pick. Caleb Williams throws 3 interceptions in this game. Can I be the well actually guy? Let me push up my glasses for a second. Well actually, Caleb Williams did not throw 3 interceptions. He threw 2. You know why, ladies and gentlemen? Say it with me, class. Not all interceptions are created. That's right, equally. He only threw 2. Because the one was at the beginning of the game when it was like 4th and whatever. It was 4th and short anyways. And he threw the ball 25 yards down the field. Well, Durant can pick that off if he wants, you know, and he ended up, you know, he picks it up and he runs it a little bit. It was an arm punt is effectively what it was. You know, the net plus minus of that play for the Rams was actually that they lost. I'm not trying to sound like a fucking dork here, you know what I mean? He still threw the pick. He sailed the shit out of the ball. It wasn't a good throw, but I'm just saying, like, you know, yeah, in the stat sheet, like, that's 1 interception. But you get what I'm saying here? Like, if you're the Rams, you're actually better off if you just bat that ball down because you lose field position by picking it off where you did. It was 4th down. Just throw, you know what I mean? Just bat that shit down. Well, now, in the end, that shit doesn't matter because the other 2 interceptions that he threw were his fault. They were completely his fault. And so, yeah, that stinks, you know, for a guy that has really all season just been so supremely responsible with the ball. He really has been. For that to not be the case in the playoffs, you know, for if you're a Bears fan, really stinks. You know, if that, man, for that play to not matter and for him to really put the team on his shoulder, you know, these, you know, 3rd down scrambles that he would have. And oh my God, what a gut punch for that franchise, for Caleb Williams, you know, for Ben Johnson, who, yeah, you know, yeah. It was at the, you know, if it's at the hands of Matthew Stafford, which is maybe where else we could go there, just a gut punch to the city. Oh, people that we care about are going to be so sad, which is funny. You know, it is funny because it's like, all right, in some ways I do sort of take the Bears fan mask off, you know, the guy who lives in the city and, you know, romanticizes. Like, what is fun is since we've moved to Chicago, it's been, this year will be 7 years, I think. Yeah, this year will be 7 years. None of the teams have been fucking good at all. None of them have been good at all. And so we've never lived in a major city where the sports teams, even one of them, are good. It's like, whoa, there is like real buzz. Like it's just, that part of it is really exciting. So that part of me is kind of like, oh, it's too bad because that this, you know, that it's over, even though this would have been their last game at home anyways, for the rest of the season, no matter what. But still, man, like just the stuff, the promotions that have been going on, the watch parties that have been going on, the Wiener Circle, you know, handing out all these free hot dogs and getting people fucked up on beers and shit and Malort. You know, it's been awesome the way the city has rallied around the team. And brother, the way that they've rallied around Caleb Williams, that guy's Jesus Christ in this town. Like, we have the Pope and Caleb Williams in Chicago. It's crazy here, man. People love this guy. And what he just did, you know, despite the loss, in the end, is it his fault? Well, yeah, that pick sucked. Oh, it sucked. But again, it was, you want to blame DJ Moore? I'm not blaming Caleb for that last pick. I mean, I am because it's his fault, but it's also DJ Moore's fault. I don't know. I think it was Collinsworth that said this on the broadcast. He's like, hey, man, was it Curl that had that pick? Was that his last name? You know, he made a dive and effort, and Collinsworth was like, I think Caleb's like, what the fuck, DJ? Like, you couldn't have done that? Yeah, man. Yeah, and okay, so the Rams side of this, you know, finally a team that's like excited. You know, the Patriots definitely are too, and of course the Seahawks are. But you know, just in the terms of the teams we've talked about so far, Matthew Stafford, folks, he's moving on, and he will be playing the Seattle Seahawks in Seattle, trying to go to another Super Bowl, trying to win another ring. I got to tell you, just on the Matthew Stafford thing, I realized something today. I don't know why I haven't really thought about this at all, but this could definitely be the case. Hey, so what if Stafford wins a Super Bowl and then, I don't know, probably wins Super Bowl MVP? And then what are the odds that he wins regular season MVP? Well, it's going to be him or Drake May, which what are the odds that that's the Super Bowl? Well, 33% chance. Is that what that would be? Because the Patriots are in the fucking Super Bowl. I think. I don't know. Don't say it, Nick. Just don't do it because, you know what I mean? Just don't do it. What are the odds? Pretty good, at least. Pretty good that the Patriots are going to be in the Super Bowl. And as Drake, the ballot's already cast, doesn't matter. Well, what I'm saying is, well, what if he collects all this hardware and he rides off into the sunset? What if we're watching Stafford's last dance right now and we don't technically know it yet? Has anybody asked him about this? I just feel like that would have come across my desk, no matter, one way or another, what he had to say about that. I just think I would have known. He's always kind of maintained, just sort of the old adage of yeah, I'm going to keep going until I suck and I can't physically do it anymore. Well, I think at camp, to start the season, I think we all thought this was 100% it. The guy was literally falling apart, but he doesn't do it in the, and you really got to credit Stafford for this, man. People always talk about his toughness. I can't say his toughness is underrated. Well, despite the fact that how much people talk about it, I still think it might be a little bit underrated still. No, but you know how I know that that's like a real tough dude? Because he doesn't do the Big Ben thing where no matter where he is in the world, no matter what he's doing, he's got 10 ice bags but he's got the old ice packs that you would see in the 40s that are kind of like a pouch. You know what I mean? You get what I'm saying here? He's got an Ebenezer Scrooge fucking hat on and there's a pouch in it. And it's actually just packed with pouches. And he's got a lantern and shit like that. That's Big Ben, man. He's going to let you know how hurt he is. Stafford's not. He's just going to get new teeth and he's going to smile. And his new teeth, his fake teeth, are going to distract you from all the bruises, all the bumps and bruises that he has going on. That touch of gray that he's got going on. Oh, the silver fox, Matthew Stafford. What if this is it for him? Sorry, I'll stop my Matthew Stafford fan fiction. What if this is it for him? I just wasn't thinking about that. And so now, all right, that's where my eggs are. All right. It's not the Rams. It's not about them. It's not. I will say this about the Rams. Commentary about a Los Angeles sports team here. In pretty much any sport, if you find yourself rooting for the team in Los Angeles, public enemy number one right now in Los Angeles, how about those Dodgers? They've done it again. They've gotten this Kyle Tucker character. They've done it again, ladies and gentlemen. Well, look, in any sport, if you root for Los Angeles, you're usually viewed as a bum and a loser. I just don't think that's the case in football. I don't think anybody cares. You want to root for the Rams? Go ahead. Who cares? It's just not the same identity as the other Los Angeles teams have. We can surmise why that's the case. Especially the Chargers. They have no business being there. You're a Chargers fan? Cool. If you live in Idaho and Idaho's a bad example because if you live somewhere where you don't otherwise have a team, then yeah, you pick whoever you fucking want. I don't care. But if you live in Chicago and your favorite team is the Lakers, it's all right, dude, you're a huge bum, But if you live here and your favorite team's the Rams, well, I guess that would still be kind of weird. But you know what I mean? You live in Cincinnati and you're I like the Rams. Well, they just played in the Super Bowl. Got to pick a fucking different thing. It's just different. It's just not the Los Angeles team, It's not the same. It's you like the Brooklyn Nets? Fucking whatever, man. I guess that's another bad example because a couple years, the Nets have always been cool. The Nets have always just been a cool sort of, I'm going to call them a cool brand, a cool identity. They've lived actually, by the way, through a lot of fucking years where they were not very cool at all. Just because they had Devin Harris doing cool windmills and fucking Darren Williams and, Jason Kidd and Richard Jefferson. Yeah, those guys were cool. Those guys were really cool for sure. And the trio, the clean sweep, plus James Harden, yeah, it was cool. It would have been cooler if they fucking played any games together. You know what I mean? No, I don't know. You could root for the Rams and who cares? No, but I'm just here for Stafford. Nope, it's just here for him. I'm here for his legacy. I was already excited for him to be a first ballot Hall of Famer and for people who hate on that to have to eat shit. But now it would be completely undeniable if he's a million years old and he wins an MVP and a Super Bowl MVP, and then he's I'm actually good now. I'm good now. I have 5 daughters. I'm gonna go make a son. Please, for the love of God, give me a boy. And that's it. And he's going to go in the Hall of Fame by the end of the decade. By the time my son is conscious as a guy and kind of cares about stuff and understands stuff, one of his first waking memories will be of Matthew Stafford being enshrined in the Hall of Fame and his dad crying over that. So that's where I'm at with the Rams. We're rooting for them. Who are they going to come up against? Well, look, man, who else? Well, okay. That's right. I have to keep going with this team's technically kind of happy right now. Yeah, if you're a Patriots fan, you're happy. Shut up. If you're a Texans fan, you're heartbroken. Oh, you're just so, you feel like the Jags right now. You kind of feel like the Panthers right now. If there's a continuum of teams who had really good seasons and no matter what should just be happy. It sucks the way that it ended, but you're still happy. It was a really successful season regardless. The furthest left, but still on there is the Panthers, Really good season from them, but, like, you guys fucking sucked. But, like, really good season, though. He made the playoffs and made it competitive against a team that might go to the Super Bowl, is playing for an opportunity to go to the Super Bowl, you know. The middle of that spectrum is the Jags, but, like, closer to the further right, because it's still a really good season from them, you know, first-year coach. And Trevor Lawrence, more often than not, put it together this year in a way that's like, oh, wow, finally he did it. You know, in a way that felt meaningful until, damn it wasn't. And then when he finally had the chance to, you know, put on the cape and be Superman, the first play of that closing drive for the Jags, he threw an interception. So I was like, whoops. All right, well, there goes that. You know, I think there's just the top of this. The top of this, I think, is probably the Texans. And so what are they most upset about right now? Well, probably that their quarterback decided to be the guy that, like, we kind of already know that he is, but he's not always, and when he's not that guy, he's pretty damn good. But when he's that guy, he's unfucking playable. Well, he decided to be that guy today. Oh. CJ Stroud. It's something about these Ohio State quarterbacks. Talk about Pat Bev trick, y'all. Ryan Day, man. It's always been the case. It's always been the case. Come on, Nick. Think of it. Joe Burrow doesn't count, by the way. Well, what about Joe Burrow? He doesn't count. Literally does not count. Joe Burrow does not count as an Ohio State quarterback. You could, like, that's like, you know what I mean? You can, if you're an Auburn fan, that's why you're allowed to say, like, Bo Nix is our guy who played for 2 years at Auburn. Yeah. You know, and I'm actually just realizing I totally forgot this was a real thing that people fought so hard over this during the 2019, like, LSU national title run. Oh my God, I totally forgot. This was a real conversation of, like, Ohio State fans claiming him. I don't even want to touch this. I don't want to go anywhere near this one. CJ Stroud, undoubtedly an Ohio State quarterback, and one that he's one of those guys. I watched like a Make-A-Wish. It's my wish. You guys remember that? I always remember almost being late for the bus because when that was on SportsCenter, back when they had the rundown in the corner. Whenever Make-A-Wish would be on there, I would drop everything. I'd watch the little Make-A-Wish features. Well, they still do them, and there was one that CJ Stroud did. This was maybe like a year or two ago. It might have been earlier this year, actually. Just the most recent batch they did. It might have been. I don't really remember. It was recent enough, though, that, man, I was just, what a cool guy CJ Stroud is. And, for as much as I don't know. I know I've kind of just been mean to him, but I'm just thinking, I don't not like him. I just, what I said about him actually is just the best way to put it. When he's the guy that everybody's kind of worried that he kind of just is, which is the guy that, turns the ball over like 5 times in a game. And it's like, well, Josh Allen did that. And it's like, oh, you fucking, oh, you sweet thing. And then, verbal meme here. But then CJ Stroud does it. It's like, human resources. Could you imagine what people would be saying if Lamar Jackson had the game that, CJ Stroud just had, or that Josh Allen just had, more importantly? Probably wouldn't be very nice things, but with CJ Stroud, that's too bad. I'm just upset because the defense was so good. And I'm disappointed because it's the Patriots. Oh, it's the Patriots. We're doing it again. I really like Vrabel. I really like him. I loved him as a player. Him and Teddy Bruschi. I loved them, man. But I don't. This is really too bad. It's really too bad. And I imagine that the Patriots will moonwalk. I imagine. Okay. All right, well, who are they going to play? Oh, what about maybe it's going to be the Seahawks? Maybe it'll be the Seahawks. 41-6. Read it and weep. Did you see this? Did you hear about this? I did. If you're a Niners fan, what are you talk about, oh, man, just a gut punch weekend. Everybody's getting kicked in the nuts. Well, if you're a Niners fan, you got kicked in the nuts because you didn't really get to watch the 49ers play. You got to watch the corpse of the 49ers play. Oh, my God, man. Gee whiz. It was over. It's rare. It's rare that you see a beatdown of this magnitude, of this scale in the playoffs. I say that as I'm saying that. I'm not too sure that that's true, Nick. It's the same team that laid this same ass-whooping down in Seattle on Saturday night that did it against the Broncos in the Super Bowl over a decade ago. 12 years ago? It's like 44-8. Like maybe the most, I don't know. Is it the most famous beatdown in Super Bowl history? I just think the context of like that, of the Legion of Boom, having the ultimate, like, plant their flag, like, we're the best ever. We're the best ever. They're not the best ever, but the Legion of Boom is, in the greater pantheon of like, iconic defenses. Yeah. Of this century. Yeah. 100%. And they had their moment, just shocking. Well, they just did it again, but they were playing that, I mean, come on, what do I think about the Seahawks? Well, I like, Kenneth Walker, man. He had 3 touchdowns in that game. I have nothing on the Seahawks because I'm come on, man. Look, it doesn't have to be every year that it's Lamar and Joe Burrow and Josh Allen and Mahomes and and Jalen Hurts and whoever you want there to be. It's not about that. It's not. All right. I would have liked it if Josh Allen was still playing. All right. I would be happier if he was, even if it would be better for my agenda, my personal #agenda. If Bo Nix was playing in that game, which he should be. What happened? He's just gone. Can I revisit this for a second? I'm sorry, Seahawks fans. I got nothing for you, I guess. Because it was a fake game. I mean, it's a great win. You didn't have to win by that much, and you did. You could have very easily not put up, 40 points, and you did. You kicked the shit out of the 49ers, 100%. The Seahawks might go to the Super Bowl, by the way. It might be a mini rematch, because there's not really any connective tissue between these Patriots and these Seahawks and the previous time that they played in the Super Bowl. But it is kind of fun. Or we talk about a stamp most iconic Super Bowl ass whooping of all time. Well, maybe the most iconically boring Super Bowl of anybody who's under 30's lifetime, a rematch of these Patriots and the Rams. Oh, what was the final score? 9-3? It was a terrible game. 13-3 maybe? Oh, that game was terrible. I surmise that this one would be a lot better, though. Can we go back to the Bo Nix thing for 2 seconds? Just for 2 seconds, okay? I don't understand. I'm sorry, man. I'm not trying to keep just saying the same thing that doesn't have any real substance. I can only say this so many times. What happened? I don't know the last time. I made a community post about this. And I said, can we do a prisoner of the moment check? Is this the craziest injury in the history of the NFL? Not in terms of the severity of it. Joe Theismann's leg turned into a spaghetti noodle. Alex Smith's leg turned into a spaghetti noodle. Damar Hamlin was medically dead on the field. Crazy shit happens all the time. But the highest of the highs, you've won the game and everything's fine. Everything's fine. There's visibly nothing going on. We have no idea. But behind the scenes, the season is over and nobody knows it. But 5 dudes. And then slowly the medical staff gets involved, 10 dudes. And then the information, and then everybody knows. What the fuck just happened? I don't know the last time we heard something this crazy, a medical announcement, something like this in sports since what? Bo Nix isn't a superstar, but the stakes of this are crazy. And the way that this just, again, how hard the air gets sucked out of this is crazy. One of the most wide open Super Bowls, maybe of anybody's lifetime. This is insane the way that this has worked out. We thought that it might be crazy down the stretch of the regular season. It was looking like it was going to shake up to be a pretty crazy offseason. I'm sorry. A pretty crazy postseason. All these quarterbacks are going down. Some of them not making the playoffs. Some of them both. And then it just the doors are just open for everybody. Teams that you thought were locks, not to bring the Lions into it, not to shoehorn them in for no reason, but the Lions aren't in. That's massive. That was massive. That's somebody that you don't have to. This is crazy. And you're the 1 seed and you have home field advantage and you can win any game. You've shown all season you can win any game. Your defense can play with anybody. Bo Nix can execute when it matters. Bo Nix for 30 attempts will play in the boundary. He will play in the boundary. He will play in between the numbers and the lines for 30 attempts. They run a lot of screens, man. And that's where you got him, and because they just don't have enough guys in space that are going to fucking go do anything. They just don't have enough of them. And when you got that version of Bo, he's just heating up. He's just heating up, and he's just waiting for every 9 to 10 throws when he'll use the middle of the field and he'll throw beyond the sticks. And when he charges up, he's got to fill up an invisible meter that allows him to use the goddamn middle of the field. But when he finally does, gotcha. Gotcha. That's when he's good. That guy's gone. Right? So it's like, yes, this would be crazier if it was Mahomes. Yes, this would be crazier if it was Lamar, Josh. Yes, for sure. But this is wild. Is this the craziest thing in that instance, in that sort of world, since Lance Armstrong got caught doping? Since he went on Oprah and was like, let me be clear, I did drugs. And this guy in the world was so big. He's the best guy at riding bikes in the entire world. He cured his own cancer because he wore a bracelet. This Live Strong bracelets. It got rid of his cancer. Nike gave him $1 billion. He kept riding bikes. He lost a ball. I think that was from his cancer. He goes on Oprah. I was doing drugs the whole time. Nike took his bracelets away. They put the cancer back at his body. You don't hear from him anymore. Before that, maybe when Magic Johnson was like, I have AIDS. I don't know. I'm really not trying to bring these up to be to be funny. Nick, what's funny about cancer? What's funny about AIDS? Nothing. Nothing's funny about them. But I don't know. Because that changed the way that people, okay, no. If I say because those things changed the way that, the only thing that would be true for was Magic with AIDS, because that just opened people's eyes and people were sort of forced into a position where they had to learn a lot about something that had been stigmatized and something that was like a complete taboo and nobody knew anything about because everybody was just gay, you're gay if you have this, and don't fucking touch me. And people were like, can we even play basketball with him anymore? What if he sweats on me? And Magic is like, that's fine. I think I'm allowed to sweat on you. And people were like, oh, okay. It was super important that happened. I guess that's maybe the wrong word to use, but it opened a lot of people's eyes. So what's the parallel here? This opens people's eyes to what? That it's a crazy sport. And that's kind of it. Nothing changes here. There's nothing to learn here. So maybe it's not the same. Maybe it's closer to just the Lance Armstrong doping thing. Maybe it's just closer to that because it doesn't change that much, but it's crazy. And do any of our sports heroes kind of get taken down and painted in a different light? Do they get Cosby'd here? No, because Lance Armstrong, that was world shattering for so many people. That was my personal Lance Armstrong admits to doping was when Brian Williams. When we found out that he's a liar and he lied on the news about being in a helicopter that was being shot at by either ISIS or Al Qaeda maybe. And he was like, I was in a helicopter and they shot RPGs at our helicopter and we were struck and we had to make a crash landing. And then was he working for CBS, right? And then was ABC? Come on, Nick, this is what you're supposed to know. NBC Nightly News. Wait. Damn, Brian Williams. Who the hell did you work for? NBC Nightly News, CBS Nightly News, ABC Nightly News. It could be any of those. Oh, come on. He's your guy. So clearly it wasn't that important to you. It would matter to me a lot. I was in high school. That really fucked with me. Because I viewed the news. I viewed people on the news. I don't know. I do with some people. I do this with local news people now. But when I was a kid, these national, broadcasters, I viewed them as authority figures. And so when I found out that Brian Williams was a fucking liar, it just blew my world up. Oh, it sucked so bad. But it didn't suck as much as this Super Bowl might. It might. We're shaping up to have a weird one. I don't know. It's impossible. It's not even fair of me to say that the Super Bowl is going to be bad. By all accounts, every single game in the playoffs so far has pretty much been kick ass. It's pretty much been awesome. Games are being won every single game within the last 2-3 minutes of the game. 2 of them now have gone to overtime. Yeah. Electric. The most gut punching nut kick losses that you're seeing. I mean, you're seeing people get their hearts ripped out of their chest. So why would the Super Bowl be any different? No, you're 100% right. But you know what I mean? If it's let's say dark web shit happens to the Patriots and it's Jarrett Stidham versus if Matthew Stafford beats Jarrett Stidham, you know what I mean? Although he would be beating at that point, it's the Broncos defense, which is a remarkably talented defense, and a terrifying secondary, and that veteran quarterback maybe again in his last dance. Yeah, that's fun, I guess. But if he wins that game, people are gonna be like, "Oh, Mickey Mouse ring." People are just gonna do it. I'm gonna be like, I don't care. First ballot Hall of Famer, Super Bowl MVP, regular season MVP, and now he has 2 rings. And even if now his basically his 6 years with the Rams would probably just be perceptively better. to the sort of zeitgeist than the 10 years that he had with the Lions, well, that would suck. That wouldn't make me feel very good. I wouldn't really like that. But he's always going to be a Lion. At the end of the day, he's always going to be a Lion. And that chapter of the story is so important because it birthed a guy that he ended up being in like the sort of second and third act of his career. I guess he sort of had like 3 acts. Yeah, I'd say he had 3 because it was like the first few years of his career where it was never going to fucking happen. Although I guess we were in the playoffs by like his 4th year. And we did go a couple times, but even when we were in there, we were never going to win, like losing to the Saints and losing to the Cowboys. Well, I guess technically the Cowboys, we should have won that game. Nah, whatever. Seahawks game, like whatever. And then there was this kind of like secondary, like sort of once we kind of started to figure out, and Matthew Stafford's career is still going. I'm not going to do the whole retrospective. I'm not going to do it yet, folks. What else do we got for you today? We'll end it there with the NFL. Hey. A little bit of NBA here. A little bit of NBA because there's some stuff that's been going on. And I have to issue a very brief apology that we are about to do more Pistons trade stuff. Hold on. New information has come across my desk. New information has arisen. And it is important that I am the communicator here for you, okay? Hey, I think the Michael Porter Jr. thing is going to happen. It looks like it's going to happen. By every conceivable breadcrumb out there right now, something's going on. People are at least talking. Which I would say, even without what I am about to present to you, we could have already assumed that. We kind of already knew that was the thing that was going on. Unless everybody is just colluding and collectively lying in the media about this and everybody's just, spreading misinformation. We kind of just assumed, yeah. The Warriors and the Pistons were the 2 teams that were like most recently, reported as being interested in Michael Porter Jr. And engaged. Milwaukee's everybody's got a little something about Milwaukee right now. Or rather, I should have that the other way around. No, I don't know. Conflicting reports about Golden State and their involvement maybe in this. The Pistons undoubtedly, man, we've known, right? Well, hey, you guys seen this? You heard about this? There were some like Nets guys at the Pistons game. There were like guys with like credentials and badges and like press passes or whatever the fuck. And they were there looking at our guys when we were playing the Pacers. Now, could they have been looking at the Pacers? Yeah, I suspect maybe they were killing 2 birds with 1 stone. I think that's a little strange that they were there otherwise, 3 weeks before the deadline. Why do we have Nets personnel at Los Angeles Center Arena? Is that really what I was about to say? Little Caesars Arena. Why? Just check it out. Like a Friday night game in Detroit. It's pretty cold, but just going to go to Little Caesars Arena, check out the Pistons for no reason at all. Wear my, make it known, make it high visibility that I work for the Brooklyn Nets for no reason at all. Oh, okay. You guys also see this video that came out about this guy, this like TikTok guy who partnered with Cade to like give away a free car. You guys see this? They gave it to like a guy who works in one of the tunnels at LCA. It's a really cool video, right? You see who commented on that video with like prayer hands and was like, love to see this, King. Like, can't wait to see it. And then I think Cade liked it. Huh. Michael Porter Jr. MPJ scrolling Instagram, which we know that he does. And he just sees something that, is cross-posted with Cade's account. And he's like, oh, let me show love. Let me show love to my guy for no reason at all. While people that work for the team that I am, you know what I mean? Something's going on here. So I looked some stuff up. Did a little research. I got some stuff for you guys here. We talk about the context of the trade. We've kind of known this for a while. How do we make this trade work? What are we expecting to see from this Michael Porter Jr. trade? I got to be honest with you. I really don't think we know. And not just in the way that we usually don't know, because it's actually really hard to predict how these things usually go. Most fake trades that you propose, like when the average NBA trade happens, if you propose that to somebody in a trade machine like 10 minutes before that trade went through, like more, if you showed it to 100 NBA fans, like 85 of them, no matter what the trade is, are going to be like, oh, that's fucking so stupid. And then it happens in real life. And everybody's like, oh yeah, whatever, one way or another. Now, I say that like people don't just immediately rip apart trades when they happen in real life, but you get what I'm saying here. There are only so many ways that you can make this work. Why don't I just get to the point? Okay. So no matter what happens, Tobias Harris is gone. You got to put him in there to make the money work. Now, who else you include beyond that and what else you include beyond that, you have a little bit of flexibility. But Tobias is gone. He has to be gone, and I'm so sorry that it has to end this way. But maybe Brooklyn will waive him, and then we can just, you know what I mean? And then we just bring Tobias back. I don't know. Why not? So what else can we do? Well, you can put Karis in there. You can put Karis LeVert in a trade with Tobias Harris, and then you just prioritize capital beyond that because the Pistons have max flexibility right now. They are in control of all of their first-round picks. They can move however many of them that they want. They are in control of a very small but valuable little trove of second-round picks as well. And I have them here in front of me. So outside of controlling a few of their own, in 2026, the Pistons also own a Charlotte second-round pick, but it's protected, 31 through 55. There's no value in that. They're not going to want that because that is probably going to not convey. The Pistons also have a 2027 second via Brooklyn or Dallas, yet to be determined. Their own 2027 second and it's the next year that I'm getting. I'm sorry, I'm fucking read all these numbers. I'm fucking getting so confused. I'm sorry. They have 3 second-round picks for 2028, all right? That's where I'm going with this. They can move some shit around. So what I'm saying is, if Tobias and Karis doesn't excite you, that's fine. That's where we come in with the capital. Okay, if you're a Pistons fan and you want to not do that, that's fine. But we got to keep Karis. And we got to move one of these young guys with Tobias. And then you can throw in just like 1 or 2 seconds and whatever you want. And that way you're not even moving firsts. But it's because you're losing a Ron Holland, you know? It's because you're losing a Jaden Ivey, something like that. Which I got to say, Pistons fans, hey, if there's smoke, there's what? There might be a little bit of you know what, you know where. I'm not the body language expert. I don't know. I see a guy who's playing kind of well lately. And I think has had a little bit, I just think there's been a little more leash with Jaden Ivey. This is interesting. You know, that Phoenix Suns game that the Pistons played, very up and down, roller coaster over first half. At points, the Pistons were down by seemingly 100 points, kept climbing their way back into it. In that first quarter specifically, you know who was like really going for it in a way that we haven't seen this year? It's Jaden Ivey. It's interesting. That's really interesting. That guy's putting the ball on the floor. I mean, they're really letting him. Now, let's be fair here, because if there's anybody who's not following along with what I'm saying, first of all, is I think they're kind of like, hey, Jaden Ivey, like, fuck it. Go out there and play because somebody that we're talking to is interested in seeing, you know, where you're at physically and the level that you can take it to. And so, hey, this is sort of like a little, you know, very soft tryout for somebody out there. While holding myself accountable here, here's what could also be true. We're also just at the point in the season, in his recovery timeline, where now this little soft minutes restriction that Ivy has been on is just naturally sort of we're progressing out of it. That could be true. It could just be that. Where now they're like, hey, we're at that point in the season, you know, we're halfway through, it's the dog days, and we're kind of like, we just got to get to the All-Star break, and then we can recover. Guys are tired, and it's nice for a guy like Ivy, who's, you know, been spending the last, like, month and a half getting his body back into real game shape, you know, and he's had a lot of time on the bench. And so maybe it's just kind of that, and that's all that it is. Could it also be both? Yes! Yeah, it could also be both. It could also be everything I just said is true, that this is just sort of the natural timeline of his recovery, and he's just kind of like starting to get to hoop now because he's playing hard lately. He's playing really hard lately, and I just think he's playing more. I guess I should look at his basketball reference. I haven't looked at his minutes. It just feels like he's playing more. Maybe I'm deluded, and I'm just saying that if the numbers don't back that up, then I'm going to sound deluded. Like I'm just saying that. Well, it feels like it feels this way. Yeah, because you want it to feel that way, jackass. Well, but it could also be the last one where this is the natural recovery, and the Nets are like, hey, you want to give him some minutes? We want to see what he looks like right now. Could be that. I don't know. So if you want to put him in there with Tobias Harris, And that way you're only giving up a few seconds or whatever it is, as opposed to Tobias and Karras and a first or two. I don't know. I don't think we know. This new CBA, I think teams are kind of they're really starting to chill out with these insane, pick hauls that I don't know. I think people are really valuing it because I think you're going to end up having to, if you somehow field a competitive roster, you're going to need those all those seconds to sort of just like reshuffle the deck, like what Milwaukee has done for the last 10 years, like just not re-signing first round picks, and they just kind of re-rack. Like once guys get at the end of their deals or whatever it is, they trade them or they just don't bring them back, and then they just bring in somebody else to supplement them. Like that's just kind of been how they keep Giannis and like stuff together. And like, has that worked? Yeah, fuck you. Yes, it has. It did, by the way. It did. For a few years, it really did, especially the year that they won a championship. It's so easy to say now that it doesn't because it's not. And it's really not. Did you see that the Bucks were down by 100 points? And the fans at Pfizer Forum, I believe, rightfully booed. They just booed. Now, the point that they picked to boo, I thought, was strange. Because it was immediately following a Giannis and one. Now, he did kind of like flex on the and one. I don't know if Bucks fans were booing that it was like, dude, you're down by 100 points, 1,000 points. Get up and shoot the free throw. And end the game. I want to go home. It's a work night. I want to go home. This sucks. You guys suck. And then Giannis was kind of like, I know you guys saw the clip. That didn't make me feel good. So it's easy to say that it didn't work now, because this is sort of just the result of it. But you did the ultimate thing that you set out to do in the end. You know what I mean? And even on that, did you see Windhorst is doing it again? Did you see Brian Windhorst, the guy who wants Giannis traded, maybe more than anybody else in the world, maybe more than Shams Charania? It's unknowable. I have no idea, but perhaps more than Shams Charania. Well, Windy said the other day, he was like, I'm hearing that there are multiple deals, in place that they're just like waiting to send them into the league. People are waiting to see if this Giannis thing is going to happen. Like that's a domino that's like really good. That's not happening. There's no way. There's no way it happens in the middle of the season. There's just no way. It's too big of a trade. And again, with this new CBA, I just think it's too big of a trade. I'll be shocked, man. Although if the Luka thing can happen, that's like that's the perfect touchstone for this. Would not be nearly that weird at all. It's certainly been written in the stars like Tiny Tempa style for a while now, and we just kind of that thread just kind of keeps tightening, and that spool just kind of keeps tightening and keeps tightening. Eventually, it's going to pop, and who knows when. I just think that's going to be in the off season. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, okay, so there's all these deals that got to get done. I just don't think Giannis is going to be. I think that's a op by Brian Windhorst. I think that's a psychological operation by Brian Windhorst to try to trick John Horst into trading Giannis Antetokounmpo. Where do you want him to go right now? Who can take him right now where you get anything meaningful? I don't believe that's true. I don't believe that that's real. But the deadline's coming up. And so that's why I just think it's important we got a little bit about Michael Porter Jr. He's interacting with Cade on social media. We got Nets personnel in the building. Jaden Ivey playing suspiciously well. People are asking questions. People are asking questions in Pistons land. And I think, just to throw another dart, hey, we're not going to record an episode for a couple days. Something could happen this week. I don't know that it will, but maybe, throw another dart out there. If it's not Michael Porter Jr., I think it's no one. I think it would be no one. I think if they don't get him, I think they're going to be fine with that. The Pelicans seem pretty adamant that they're not trading their guys. Herb Jones, that's a Pelican. We like this extension that we got him on. He's making really good money. Like for us, like really team-friendly deal for just an outstanding player. Like, no, we're keeping him. Trey Murphy, it sounds like, no, we're good. The pure churro bread, Zion Williamson, it sounds like they're keeping that, you know what I mean? So if New Orleans is out of it, then I think it's just kind of Michael Porter Jr. or bust. And on the Michael Porter Jr. thing, it's not like he's a guy that we don't talk about all the time for reasons that have nothing to do with basketball. You talk about him as like a personality, as like a head case, as a guy who just loves saying shit into a microphone. Brother, you and me both, and you would have a home here on the Coping Hour, right? And so, you know, we've said not nice things about him, and like we've called him mean names, and like we make fun of him. But here's the thing. Welcome to the Coping Hour, where I talk myself into shit that I actually believe. I swear to God, I believe this. Look, what have we said all year about this team if they make a trade? If you're doing it, it's got to be your Rashid trade, because this is the team. And it's not shit on the margins. You need one guy. I think you need one guy to turn this shit up. I'm serious. Go get your Rashid. But if it's not him, don't get him. It's not him, you know? But that guy will materialize. Don't force it. I don't know. Rashid's personality, when he first got to the Pistons, people weren't very happy about it. People were not happy about it. The Jailblazers, people were not happy about it. And how did that go? This personality, I don't know. I don't know. I got to say this, too. Pistons fans. That guy can hit some wild shots. Those off-balance, like from the wing threes, off a screen or off the catch that Michael Porter Jr. can hit, you know, in the last 2 minutes of a game. I mean, and one, he hits those, man. He hits those. And that's what the Pistons need, is a guy who can score like him. You know, but that's what they need, you know, is a guy who can score like him. And I just think when that guy is the one who just invariably has that back flare up, it's going to fucking happen. It's going to happen at the worst time, because it always does, and it always has with him. You don't want to manifest it. It's just the reality. It's just what happens. You know, there's a reason. Look, do you guys remember this? People forget about this? You seen this? You remember this? You ever picked up a book? Michael Porter Jr., his first year at Missouri, it was only a year at Missouri. That, like, September, October, that guy was the number 1 pick in the draft, and it wasn't close. It wasn't close. Open and shut. Michael Porter Jr. for a year was going to be the number 1 pick. And then what was it? Didn't he play like 2 games? Or did he even get to play? Got hurt. Out for the whole year. Ended up playing like 5 games that year. And then we go to the combine, and all these teams just like keep doing like medical fucking Joseph Mengele fucking experiments on Michael Porter Jr. And they all keep coming away with the same information. We keep hearing the same stuff about Michael Porter Jr. His back. His medicals. You'd never heard the word medicals as many times as you had as when Michael Porter Jr. was going through the combine, and motherfuckers were terrified of his back. Where did he go? 14th, 15th, middle of the draft, end of the lottery, to the Nuggets? Yeah. I don't remember where he went. It wasn't first. I could tell you that much. This has always been a thing with him. And so as fun as it seems, and when it ends up working, if the Pistons do it, because when it works, it's going to work. It's really going to work. But when he misses 7 games, it's going to fucking happen, and we're all going to be pissed about it. And people are going to come out of the woodwork. And when that happens, they're going to say, "Oh, well, I was the one who said we should stand pat. And look, now we lost Ron Holland. We could really use Ron Holland or Ivy or whoever it ends up being." And so I'm just already tired of those people. Before it even happens, he might not be on the team in 3 weeks when the deadline passes. I might be saying all this and getting worked up for no reason. I have no idea. It's unknowable. I don't know. There is your update, folks. Pistons, trade deadline, Michael Porter Jr. It sounds like it might happen. What do I want to close today with? How do I want to send you guys out? What have I been watching this weekend? I watched a lot of stuff this weekend, actually. I watched one battle after another for the 3rd time. It's still good. I am pleased to report, after the Golden Globes and just seeing how funny Leo and Sean Penn were, Sean Penn just like ripping a heater in the middle of the, oh my God, rocks. Leo doing like the girly pop, K-pop shit. He's being all fucking animated and adorable. That's my king. I just see them interact with everybody. Tiana Taylor, winning those, amazing. It just made me want to watch the movie again, so I did, and it rocked. I finally got around to Sinners. Finally got to see that too. So it stunk. 2 days later, I watched Josh Allen lose, and I go, Josh, I just saw your wife. She was brilliant in that movie. I thought she was going to be in it more. I thought she was like a more important part of that movie. kind of not really. It's not a spoiler. Don't worry. I don't know. I don't know what happens during that movie. I didn't watch. I had my eyes closed. It is awesome. I really, really enjoyed that movie. Very, very original and refreshing. At times felt like it was like two different movies, but I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. I did see a really funny review of Sinners on the audience reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. I love to look at Rotten Tomatoes reviews after I watch a movie, and I found one that I took a screenshot of here. Let me just find it really quick. This one came into us from Ivan. Half a star. Worst movie I have ever seen since Flubber. That's probably the funniest commentary I ended up seeing on this. The worst movie that guy had seen since Flubber. Can you imagine? I wonder if it was like the movie or if that guy just hated Robin Williams. Because that'd be a huge bummer if that guy just hated Robin Williams. Flubber. Sinners. The worst movie since Flubber. One battle after another. I watched Sinners. I also watched For a Few Dollars More. Y'all ever seen that? It's a Clint Eastwood. He's a cowboy. I think it's a trilogy. So the first one is The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. The second one is maybe like, I think it's For a Fistful of Dollars, I think. And then the last one is For a Few Dollars More. It's just cowboys and bounty hunters and killing the bad guys and pew 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 and like spaghetti westerns, and the audio doesn't really match their lips. It doesn't really sync up very well. Awesome, really really good. I mean, just the best movies, like literally just the best movies. It really stinks that you just don't really get cool westerns anymore. It's just not really a medium that exists. It's kind of like you don't really get sitcoms anymore, and like true like TV audience ones, and the ones that you do get are like not like they're, because that just doesn't work anymore. Like that's just not funny anymore. It's very crazy. I all the time I go back and I watch episodes of Roseanne, and or episodes of Friends, or something like that, where there's a live TV audience, and that just doesn't. It's crazy. It's just that doesn't really work anymore. We still do the fourth wall, and how that exists, and not that these shows break fourth walls, but you know what I mean. Like there's this invisible wall. We still do that, but formulaically, it's just we don't do it on stage anymore. I guess is really all that it is. Is really just the way they put it. Well, I guess we do it on stage. It's just not live on it's not on a sound stage, and it is on a sound. God damn, bro, shut up. Jesus Christ, shut up. What else did I watch? I watched United kick the shit out of Man City. Oh, my God. Leicester blew it against Coventry. Bunch of fucking clowns. Fast is gone. He went to Monaco. Thank God. Get the Christ off the team. Guys, buy Justin James. Fast is gone. Thank the Lord. Fatah's probably got to get sold because he just hasn't been good, and he's otherwise just going to leave this summer. And if they just they're going to get a deduction and demotivated, and then they're going to finish in damn 19th place this year. And Fatah was going to leave anyways. So just go ahead, poach him, get him out of here. We've heard like every major club in the world has had eyes on that guy. There was Real Madrid links this summer. City's put a word in. United's put a word in. Galatasaray's put a word in. All on this guy from damn Leicester who just, I don't even know if he cares. Well, he cares and he wants to. I don't care. The team fucking stinks. What other stuff did I watch? I watched a Jackass movie. Maddie and I watched Jackass. I got nothing else. I'm getting pissed off. I'm getting mad. Made me so mad. Spotify. You guys got any, I don't want to ask if you have any Western recommendations. I've seen, The Hateful Eight, and it's like, well, actually you talk about modern Westerns. Yeah, Western themed. Yeah. But like true, because Eddington, I guess, is a Western, but it's not. It is, but it's not. Because like one of the guys, I don't want to spoil the movie. I think it's worth seeing, but look, so there's something that happens in that movie at a point that, only, I don't know. I don't think it's I can't say it without, I would just spoil the movie. I don't want to be that guy. I'm not going to spoil it. Go ahead and see Eddington. I think it's on HBO. It's on everything. It's on everything. I was counting on my hands all the subscription services that we have, all of them. Oh, I don't even want to do it. I'm too embarrassed to like do it on my hands and be like, yes, this one. I'm too embarrassed to do it. But at the same time, I want to ask you, Spotify, how many do you have? Or like, is it easier to say what ones you don't? Or like, Yeah, actually, just let's do that. Let's do that. Nobody has to self-report on how many streaming services they pay for, because I think maybe we all pay for too many. Maybe you don't. Maybe you're really disciplined and you don't. I admire you. Good for you. Is there one that you refuse to pay for? Apple TV for me. I won't do it. Did it for 2 months because it was free and I got to watch MLS and it was cool. And you're gonna be like, wow, what about Severance and Pluribus? I know, but I know. But I can't with Apple. That's insane that they have a stream. I have a line in this. You got to draw a line in the sand at some point with like who's allowed to have a streaming service and who's not. Now Apple having one, I guess, it's not the craziest one to have one out of all of them. You know, all things considered. Nah, I don't know why. I just think I don't like it. Apple TV. Nope. Never gonna subscribe to it. You guys got any ones like that, or are you just kind of like, whatever? I gotta watch what I gotta watch sometimes. Apple Podcasts. What's up? What's up? If you're watching this on YouTube, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, nice little comment for the algorithm. Make sure to keep primary control in check. And I will catch you guys in the next one.
Beautiful, beautiful.